Hi, in this video I'm going to give you 5 tips to do on your test day to give yourself the best possible chance of passing first time. The first one is do what you normally do the night and the morning of your driving test. Let me explain. A lot of pupils want to go to bed slightly earlier to give themselves rest, so you're waking up bright, early, bushy-tailed and all the rest of it. If your body's used to 8 hours sleep, it's going to want 8 hours sleep. If you go to bed early, give it 9 hours, 10 hours, you're going to wake up in the morning and you're going to be overtired because that's not what the body is used to. So you need to do your normal routine the night before. So if you go to bed at 11, go to bed at 11. When you wake up in the morning, do your normal routine. If you normally have breakfast. Give the body some fuel. That's what it's used to. If you don't normally have breakfast, then don't start eating something just because it's your driving test day. It's not what your body's used to. With the chemistry, with the adrenaline, the nerves, the excitement going through your body, it needs to follow the same routine as it normally does. So just do your normal routine. Another little tip on that one: don't start drinking Red Bull. The amount of pupils who have been advised to drink coffee, have a sports drink that's got caffeine in it, Red Bull for example, that will just mess you right up. If you're not a caffeine drinker, do not start drinking caffeine. Tip 2, create a good impression for the examiner. So let me explain this one. You're in the waiting room waiting for the examiner to come out and call your name. Have your license to hand. Don't pull it in your pocket, in your purse, wallet, bag. So you've got to be fumbling around when the examiner calls you. When the examiner calls your name, stand up, walk over to the examiner and hand your license to them. This creates a good impression, so they're not standing there waiting for you or having to come over to you because you're still sitting down. The next tip: do not be afraid of the examiner. The examiner's there to assess your driving. They're not judging you, they're just assessing your driving. All they want to see is what you've done on your driving lessons for your instructor to say you're good enough to take a driving test. So don't be afraid to talk to the examiner if you need confirmation on anything he's asked you to do. To be fair, most examiners will say that during the highlight of what's happening on the driving test. If you're not sure of anything, please ask me to repeat it back. So don't be afraid to talk to the examiner if you want confirmation of anything that you are not sure of, especially when it's the maneuver or a turn left or a turn right. So don't be afraid to ask. My next tip is do not rush your decision making. Your test has now started. Your mind is going to be doing 101 calculations and you've got the examiner sitting next to you and you're thinking, oh my God, he wants to see this, he wants to see that. All the examiner wants to see is you make a safe decision and the outcome to be safe and controlled. So don't rush your decision making, especially at giveaway lines. If it's not safe to go, don't do it. If you're not sure, don't do it. Only go when you're 100% sure you can come out without rushing, which is going to make you stall if you do. So don't rush your decision making. My next tip is don't worry about going the wrong way. This is one of the biggest hang-ups that a pupil has. Oh, I've gone the wrong way, I might go the wrong way. Especially when you do the independent drive, where if you get the 20-minute sat-nav drive or the 20-minute independent drive where you're following signs. You can't fail for going the wrong way as long as everything's consistent. So if the examiner says to you turn right and you check your mirrors for turning left and you signal left and you turn left, he can't fail you for it. The outcome is still safe, the outcome is still controlled. So don't worry about it. The sat-nav will reroute you or the examiner will reroute you. So you can't fail for going the wrong way. So don't get hung up and stressed out about this. My next tip is understand the feedback the examiner gives you. So when you come back from your driving test, the examiner will say either congratulations, which means you've passed, and he may give you minimal feedback on the minor faults that you have, or he may say, I'm sorry to say you didn't make it on this occasion, which means you failed your driving test. To be honest, when most pupils hear this, they switch off. Obviously, you failed it for a reason, either a serious fault or a dangerous fault or too many minors. He will give you feedback on this. If you've gone with your instructor, he will ask you, can your instructor listen in? Say yes, so your instructor can listen in. This feedback is going to be very useful to you so you can correct any mistakes you've made before you take another test. And if you get your instructor to listen in, the examiner may even explain what part of a test route it went wrong on as well. So you can go back there and practice the situation or circumstance. So listen to the feedback and understand it. This is very, very useful for you in the future in terms of moving forwards. Even if you pass your driving test, obviously once you pass your test, you're on your own. Good feedback, it's going to be useful for you when you go on your own as well. For those of you that stay to the end, I'll give you some bonus tips. The first one is go to the toilet before the test. Check the test center out as well. If you're going with an instructor, they should know whether there's a toilet available or not. If you're going with a family member, taking in your own car, for example, Google it. Make sure you know if the test center's got a toilet. The last thing you want to do is turn up wanting to go and there isn't a toilet there. And the other thing is turning up, go to the toilet literally just before your test, and the examiner comes out, calls your name, and he's now got to wait for you while you're in the toilet. So check out to see if there's a toilet available. If there isn't one, go beforehand en route. My next bonus tip is take a bottle of water with you. You will have a chance to take a sip of water if you need it along the test route. You're going to get parked up on the left 3-4 times on your test route. And while you're parked up, just make sure the car is safe, handbrake are neutral, and take a sip of water. This goes back to what the tip I gave you earlier. Don't be afraid of the examiner. When the car's parked up, if you need a sip of water, take it. He would allow you to do that. So don't be afraid of the examiner. Don't be afraid to take a sip of water. Take a bottle of water with you. And my last bonus tip for you, as obvious as it is, breathe and take deep breaths when needed, especially when you're doing maneuvers and especially when you're parked up. If you think you're losing it, when you've got the moment, take a deep breath, especially when he parks you up on the left. The examiner will say to you, park up somewhere safe and convenient on the left. Go handbrake, neutral, come off the pedals. When he says to you, drive on when you're ready, it is when you are ready. Don't dive and start the car up and start to go straight away. Take a deep breath, think about what he's looking for. For those of you taking driving lessons, he's looking for your POM. Have the car prepped, observations including blind spots, and obviously your maneuver. When he says to you, drive on when you're ready, that's when you really want to take a deep breath and say to yourself, what's he looking for? And that's your POM. I hope you got some value from this video. If you did, like, comment and subscribe. Go and watch this next video, and I'd like to wish you all the best on your driving test.